In this video, we'll begin discussing carboxylic acid. So we've seen carboxylic acids in some instances in the past, but this unit is really diving into its properties and reactivity of carboxylic acid molecules. So first off, a carboxylic acid molecule has a carbonyl, so a carbon to oxygen double bond, and that carbon is bonded to an OH. So that's a requirement for something to be a carboxylic acid. It has this bonding pattern, and then the carbon can be bonded also to other molecules, to a hydrogen, to carbon chains. Those are carboxylic acids. Sometimes carboxylic acid groups are abbreviated as CO2H. So if you ever see CO2H in a formula, that's a carboxylic acid. Or sometimes both oxygens are written out, so COOH is a carboxylic acid. So carboxylic acids occur widely in living organisms. And they have important roles in organic synthesis. And we'll talk about molecules or organisms that contain carboxylic acid molecules and the carboxylic acid role in organic synthesis kind of as we go along through this unit. We're going to start with nomenclature. So how do we name these molecules? And the common nomenclature for carboxylic acids is widely used. So we will discuss common nomenclature. So this includes similar prefixes as aldehydes and ketones. So form for hydrogen, acetyl for a methyl group, etc. So similar prefixes. And then at the end of the name, so in molecules where carboxylic acids are the priority group, which often they are, they have a high priority in general. The end of the name ends in either ic acid, so IC and then acid, or oic acid, OIC and then acid. So we add suffix. So we add suffix ic and acid, in some cases oic, and we'll look at examples of both of these. And then for substituents, in common nomenclature, we use Greek letters, so alpha, beta, gamma, delta, to indicate the location of substituents on a carbon chain that contains a carboxylic acid. All right, let's look at 3 examples. All right, 3 molecules here. Our first molecule, we have a methyl group bonded to a carbonyl, and that was that acetyl name. That's in our aldehyde and ketone nomenclature notes. And then we have a carboxylic acid functional group. So the name of this molecule is acetic acid. And little note about this, acetic acid is the acidic component of vinegar. And then the word acetus is vinegar in Latin. So that's how we have that part of the name. Okay, next we have a carboxylic acid bonded to a phenyl ring or a benzene ring. So this is benzoic acid. And then in the next example, we have a 5-carbon chain. Carboxylic acids are high priority, so those would get, that carbon would get carbon number 1, would be numbered carbon number 1. So we could name this 2-bromo butanoic acid. But often when you're looking at names for carboxylic acids, Greek letters are used instead of numbers. For Greek letters, the alpha, beta, gamma, etc. refer to carbons. The carbonyl carbon doesn't get a letter, but the adjacent carbon does. So this carbon next to the carbonyl carbon is the alpha carbon, beta carbon, gamma carbon. So using Greek letters, this is alpha bromo butanoic acid. Now let's do an example where we're given the name. So we will draw beta chlorohexanoic acid. The hexanoic acid part tells us we have a 6-carbon chain. We have a carboxylic acid, so that has to be at one end of the chain. It could be, you could draw it on the left or the right. And then we have a chlorine at the beta carbon, so our alpha is adjacent to the carbonyl carbon, beta, gamma, etc. So we have a chlorine at the beta carbon.